Hello there, I'm Colonel Failure, and this is Train Fever. So, we've encountered another crash issue, actually related to the last one, which is typical. And that is that if I now try to remove the stations that basically got deleted from the routes they're attached to, it crashes the game. Terrific, lovely job. So to work around that, which is not something I'd wanted to do, I deleted the route and created a new one. So it's taking a little while for that to get back up to speed. Basically, we've reset our progress on that side of things. It's far from perfect, but needs must in order to crack on. It's something I need to be aware of going forward, though, because obviously I don't want to have to create a whole new route every time I delete a station. So I'll see if I can figure out some way to avoid that happening. Anyway, the upshot of this is that we've got some cash flow issues going on at the moment. Things are building back up again nicely enough. We're starting to get passengers ride on the route, but not quick enough to get the money coming in. So we're riding here along with Train 7. Come on, stick with Train 7 as he heads into to Middleton. As you can see, he's got some passengers on board. I basically moved forward by about 6 months, something like that. I hope you can forgive me. Yeah, so full load at the moment, heading towards Middleton on the loop. And as requested by Picnic Basket, we are having a ride along today, given that otherwise I would have simply been waiting for the cash to build up, and potentially that would take us beyond 1900. Now, I've considered already upping my loan limit or maxing it out in order to get more vehicles running, further parts of the track expanded, that kind of thing. But to be honest, it leaves no room for error. And at the moment, we're in a situation where a bit of room for error wouldn't do us any harm. So I hope you enjoy the ride as we kick forward. What else could we talk about? Well, let's have a look at some stats while we go. So, as you can see from the kind of finances of the company, 1894 was when we when we completed the loop and added new trains to it and mucked about with the stations. In fact, no, it wasn't. That was the year where we double tracked one section, and it cost us plenty. 3.2 million it's saying in construction costs, but it cost us more than that, because if you look at the income for that year, we actually dropped by 2 million that year, and that was unhelpful. And so last year, which was we've just passed because we're in February now, where last year rolled around, and that was when I basically recreated the route, and our money was down again. So I'm hopeful that this time around we'll actually get close to, I'm hoping 9 million this year. If we can go higher than that, that'd be terrific. But we're still nowhere near the kind of peak income that we had, which was pushing 11 million. So potentially I jumped too soon in setting trains on the loop. What I probably should have done was run those point-to-point services for longer, in order to keep the revenue coming in strong while I completed the loop in both directions, and keeping those little point-to-point services running, because they were making me good cash, and then only actually switching to the full loop once the loop had been completed and double tracked in both directions. Would that have been a better move? Almost undoubtedly. That would have been a smarter thing to do. But hindsight is 20/20, and you don't get to go back and go, oh yeah, I'd quite like to do that, please. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I could load an autosave and do it from there, but frankly, that feels a little bit cheating. I'd rather mess through, muddle through. I think we'll go above the bridge here. Yeah, I'd rather muddle through and play the cards that I've been dealt, rather than try and rig my hand. Don't get me wrong, we're building this not out of the challenge involved. With the mods that I've got installed, I can no longer gain achievements. I mean, that doesn't really bother me anyway. I've never been much of an achievement-based gamer, but yeah, I still have a preference for, you know, if you screw up, you deal with that and move on. That's how you keep games interesting. Is you allow yourself to make mistakes and take the consequences that come with those. That's what makes variety. If you just wanted to win every time, why not stick a no lose mode on? And certainly, I think this is. I think they've released a mod now for unlimited funds. You know, or why not stick it on easy? If all you want to do is build something glamorous, don't get me wrong. You know, there's nothing wrong with that as a type of way to play. It's just not how I prefer to play. I like the threat of having to do it properly. Of knowing that if you can't build a profitable service, you'll not be able to run any service at all. This is a rather scenic section of the map, isn't it? Rather splendid. Going across the river and about to enter the tunnel, and we've got these trees of unknown origin kind of kicking around. I like it. Yeah, so you know, we're hoping that our income, where are we? We're in June and we've only hit 3.5 million so far. Actually, we're on target to at least do as well as last year, and that would be nice. We're up to 800,000 in debt. The other expense that I've got coming in is my trains are going to start being replaced. We've still not had a new locomotive available. Which is a little disappointing. I think in the European version you've got at least the Crocodile available by this point, so the first electric locomotive. Should we just stare at this blank mountain texture there for a couple of minutes? Sure, why not? Okay, let's have a look and see how our towns are actually getting on. So here's the list we all know and love. Maryport's still only just breaking 400, but I had a quick look there before I started recording, and both of the Maryport stations are now, well, offering up good numbers of passengers. So I'm hopeful that once the volume of trains that we're going to be bringing in there starts picking up, and hopefully, after we get road vehicles, I mean, it's 1896, we can't be too far away. Henry Ford, I'm sure, is completing his schooling about now and starting to go, yeah, black. I've got a thing about black. Maybe we've got some new road vehicles coming up, and that will be quite interesting, especially if they're goods related, because we're still leaving an awful lot of money on the table as far as road goods transit is concerned. But as yet, who knows? I'm tempted to break away from this train, but I'm not going to, because I want to know that other trains are still running properly on this line. Challenging. Okay, good. So where are we heading to next? Alnwick. Alnwick, of course, scene of the great Alnwick wagon train and its 10-year mission. Right, there we go, coming out the tunnel. It's 10-year mission to start shipping goods on my behalf. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about when I say that I could so very easily just back up and fix that error. But I'd rather see how things play out with me having performed as I usually would, without too much care and attention. There you go. Oh well, look, we're up into positive cash again now. But if this pushes past 700 grand, I know that one train needs replacing, and it's costing the best part of 750,000 in order to get trains replaced. That's how much one of these. Consolidation in 3. Yeah, I seem to recall this train left the last station with 47 passengers on board. 7 of whom have now left to kind of go like, man, I could get there faster by walking. Or, Alnwick isn't worth that amount of hassle. Now, I'm hopeful there'll be some actual passengers waiting here. In fact, based on the look of the station, there are some passengers waiting here. I mean, I've debated already about whether it's worth buying another couple of trains to run round the loop. As you can see off into the distance, there is no train ahead of us, because there's definitely demand in the circuit to run more services. The question is, you know, am I going to make more money by doing that and then, you know, leaving myself down by 700,000 per trainer, or am I better waiting until I can actually increase the number of services run? Okay, we're in September. We're up to 7.4 million for the year, thanks to this train just arriving. Actually, an awful lot of people just got off. That's positive, but our running costs are still extremely high, and we're just about to beat last year's income, so that's something. I don't think we're going to be pushing 9 million, that's for sure. Okay, so, you know, we've been running 10 minutes so far, for those of you who like to keep an eye on the clock. Well, 11 minutes, and we've hit 2 stations in that time. This is a lengthy old route. Now, you know, once we've got modern diesels or even electrics going on, that journey time will decrease, I have no doubt. But right now, you know, if you want to ride the train, it's going to take you a while to do so. What else we got going on? Let's have a look at individual incomes. So train 7, which is the one we're following, is on what we're calling now the Bromyard Loop. 16, actually, let's sort by age. 35 years. Okay, so train 1 needs replacing. That's where the next 700 grand that I have in the boat. As soon as 700,000 appears, that thing will pull into the station and just going to go, right, time to upgrade. Less than ideal. But, you know, we're showing a lot of green here. Why is train 8 doing so pitifully? Maybe it's very close to the one it's chasing. It is really underperforming. It's only carrying 6 passengers as well. Could do with a little higher performance out of you, my friend. And then, oddly enough, we've got some underperformance on these goods wagons, but I suspect that's because their journey length is excessive, long. I think is probably the way to go. They'll make money when they arrive or when they return to a station. Yeah, look, here's train 9 is also on the loop. Hasn't made a profit this year. There we go. Where did we just burn 700,000? Must have been fix the trains day. So we're now up to 8.5 million. We are actually going to push 9 million this year. Well, I'll be. It would be nice if we were profitable, though, because I don't see our profits on the current system going too much higher. I mean, we're certainly maxing out in terms of demand, or rather fulfilling demand. You know, if we wanted to carry more passengers, we'd actually need to put more services in more services into service. Can you say that? More trains into service. Let's get rid of some of this, so you can at least appreciate the journey while we talk at length. Look at it. What was I thinking? Wallingford. I must be hoping that Wallingford's going to grow enormously, because right now I'm not feeling it. Road vehicle 82 has reached its lifetime and must be replaced. Okay, that brought around January, so we're into a new year. Where did we end up? 10.3. Hey, that's positive. Up 1.3 million over the previous year. Handsome. That's a good place to start. Of course, we are down 500,000 as soon as the year starts, so I think that was just a fortunate piece of timing there. There we go, 165,000 for that. That's adequate. What are we carrying now? 38 passengers. Well, that's miraculous. 38 people waiting in the middle of nowhere for the train. Right, let's close that and make sure that I've got all my road vehicles being automatically replaced. I imagine this is somewhat undermining the joy and frivolity of following the train along, but I might as well do something practical while I'm here, right? Vehicle replacement. Select vehicle. What are you? You're horses and indeed carts. Yep, there you go. Get to work. Stagecoaches, that's what I meant, not horse and cart. Horse and cart is our good service. Okay, onwards. So, yeah, so it's going to be a couple of years. It may even push 1900 before I'm ready to expand again. And what I'll do after this video, so, I mean, we'll complete our loop with following the almighty Train 7. In fact, I'm going to call this the Picnic Express. Picnic Express. Given that it was his or her suggestion that we do this in the first place. Yeah, we'll continue following this round, and then after that, I'll keep the game running until we're ready to expand again. And I think optimistically, I think you're looking at probably 7-8 million plus in order to complete the anti-clockwise loop. So I'm going to do another section of the anti-clockwise loop and get that running as well. And maybe, I mean, I'll keep a close eye on how individual trains are performing financially, but I think the safe thing to do might be to actually just add another couple of services if they're all packing out. Hard to say for sure. But here we go. You know, it says it's a large map, but you know, it's not until you actually ride around on a train that you actually get a feel for just how big it is. You don't appreciate it close up. There you go. What are you hauling, my friend? Wallingford lumber. And you're not carrying anything at the moment. Well, I hope you're going to the right place. I hope you're going in the direction of making a pickup. Okay, splendid. So we're heading towards Maryport now. Oh, okay, fine. Yes, of course, because Wallingford is the last stop before the entrance into Maryport, and we've, you know, I think we put more than enough kind of colour commentary against this particular run of the line, where you know you come over the hill and you kind of go through the middle of it. I think I might re-sculpt that a little when I revisit it to double track, and all you see is that gigantic bridge. And look at it; it's enormous. There has to be a neater way of redoing that. I don't get me wrong, I've got nothing against viaducts. I mean, look at this. Nice stone, bit of craftsmanship going on. But that other bridge is too long. And there we go. I think that's another one on the loop, having just left Maryport over there on the horizon. That's fun. Splendid. So, yeah, I mean, if you were around, we debated going straight across the lake. In fact, we even looked at it for a minute there. There's a piece of ground that I could do with fixing. And that would have been quite something. You know, it might be that if I'm making megabucks by the time I come to redevelop this section of the route, that I actually take the bridge there, because we're connecting with this bridge that you can see off in the distance. So we're going to come through the tunnel there, up, out, over the bridge. I think. I'm pretty certain. Yeah, I think going over the water as an expense, it might actually be worth it. Well, there's something else coming out of Maryport. Where's that going? Clay Cross, maybe? Fun. My ideal, of course, is that by when we've actually finished kind of the significant build portion of the track, that the number of trains running is verging on the ridiculous. I don't know if the game's going to handle it. We've already seen some wobbles in the game so far, and I'm not entirely sure why they came up. It could be down to the mods that I'm running, or the fact that it's got the DLC in there. Any one of these, because I mean it was community develops DLC, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I've got all the time in the world for the community putting the work into developing a DLC pack, but it means that they're all building with different standards, or different code bases, or different approaches to actually putting these things together. So it could be, one errant line of code that causes the problems, I'm not, you know, I'm not going to hold it against them. It's frustrating. It's not the end of the world. Anyway, here we go. Final approach. Now, we just burned the best part of $1 million. I have to know, did we actually buy a train with that? No, we did not. So here we are, July, we're on 5 million, so we're on track to at least equal last year's income. Hopefully a little more. And I'm also expecting that when we drop off here, we will ditch all 32 people that are on board and take on a whole fresh batch. Actually, look, get rid of that window. Look at this. This is what we want to see basically everywhere, is nothing but trains going places. Maybe going places a little bit faster, but going places nonetheless is what we're after. Okay, come on. Little train that could. Well, little train that could be involved in costing me quite a lot of money to keep running on these rusty old rails we've got going on. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the redevelopment of this area. For when we double track, this will turn into 4 lines, not 2, and they will merge on the way up in a way I haven't entirely figured out yet, because we're going to run twice as many trains down here, and it's going to be double tracked in both sides. There we go. You're about due replacement. Flaming heck, how old are you? Okay, so, you know, as mentioned before, while he comes into the station, the other side of Maryport is now starting to build up in exactly the way we'd hoped. And by looking at the little stick figures, you can see that there are plenty of people waiting for trains. And that's where the bucks come from. Hey, look at that, we're up to 2 million. That's a bit more promising, isn't it? And then we immediately dropped to 1 million. Did we buy a train? No, we didn't. Holy cow. Sold vehicles, road. I mean, we're consistently selling road vehicles off and buying new ones. That's fine, but we haven't paid out the 747,000 that it is to replace a train, and I know that at least one needs replacing. Yikes. You know, I'm a stickler for defaults when it comes to replacing trains. Well, replacing everything for that matter. I mean, you can tell the game that you want it to replace later, and therefore get a little bit more. Which is the best view, do we think? Yeah, that's quite fun. Yeah, so you can say that, you know, you want it to wait a little longer before making a replacement. But no, I'll do it right at the kind of the optimum moment, which is the default. There we go. Road vehicle 83 has reached its lifetime and should be replaced. Well, that's fine with me. However, I'm pretty sure that we've already communicated that you can replace automatically. Okay, which are the bits we aren't replacing automatically? Let's go road only. That is, it thinks that Bishop's East is a road. Well, actually, I'll have to put that on the replacement. So, actually, no, I'm going to hold off on that one. That one can have the new train as soon as it becomes available. Then at least we've got something. What do we got? Train. We'll leave those alone. See, both Mary Clay, Mary Lot, which were 2 of our earliest services, are in need of replacement. If not now, then relatively soon. I'm going to stick those on the... I don't want to... I'm certain we'll get a new locomotive soon. We must get a new locomotive soon. And everything else is on the auto replacement. So vehicle 83, whatever your issue is, I'm sure it will be resolved in the fullness of time. Just be patient. Okay, so talking about the replacement of this section here, I think the solution is going to have to be to tunnel below the peak of the hill. It's not quite a mountain, but I mean, look at the height of this bridge. It's faintly ludicrous. So we are paying a little excessive just to remain somewhat flat in our descent into Holsworthy. Who knows? But yeah, I'd like to have the money to do a proper replacement job on this one. Right, where are we? November 1897. Come on, I want a new train. This consolidation is glorious, but it will continue to be in service for quite some time. You know, get with the program and give me something with a top speed of 100 kilometers an hour or better. You know, I'm tempted to go and Wikipedia it up and see what's missing from the glorious history of US rail. I mean, you know, for someone who plays as many train games as I do, I really don't have a grasp on the timings of much, you know, technologically for trains outside of, I guess, when the last steam services kind of operated in the UK, and even then, my knowledge is kind of, let's say, fuzzy, I think is probably the best way to describe it, and largely inherited from the likes of Railroad Tycoon. And therefore, bordering on the inaccurate. Okay, right, so here we go. Last stop. We're heading back out to Bromyard, which is where we started. I will complete the full circuit. Look at this, though. Oh, yes, this is what is that? Holsworthy? Was that? Yeah, Holsworthy. You know, growth there is coming along very nice. There it is, Mikado. Ooh, tasty. Oh, I'm all about some of that action. Let's have a look. I'm guessing here, but I suspect it's not going to be cheap. And if I'm going to set the loop up to take those, in fact, let's start off with these two chaps here who are possibly overdue already. Set vehicle. Right. Okay. So the consolidation here had a tractive effort of 70 kilonewtons. What are we talking about? Double the price, but look at that tractive effort. They were freight locomotives. Not in this game, they're not going to be. Right, we'll have one of those. We'll replace it with one of these. And when was this introduced? 1875. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1.3 million each. It should pay for itself, though, right? Right. I'm tempted. It might be even worth putting 6 on there. What does that actually give us in a passenger sense? That pushes 80 for passengers. Okay, 5 will be enough, and we can. There we go. Right. Yikes. Okay, right, well, you know, it's done. Committed. But that should be a sight to see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yikes. Yes. Okay, right. Well, hopefully we'll see one of those kick off sooner rather than later. It'd be nice to be able to round out by watching some futuristic train action. In fact, let's see how old these two are. Which train are you? You're train 3. 27 years old, so you might not be replaced just yet. Mary Loft is... This is train 1. If anyone's needing replacement, they're going to be this one. 37 years old. Okay, so train 1 is likely to replace first. Okay, fine. Except, you know, we were talking about more money than we've got in the bank to replace it. But I'm very optimistic that being able to run that fast will make me good money. Now, it's also tempting just to stick one immediately on our line here, on the loop, to help, you know, move things along a little bit more. But it's just going to back up into other services on the line. And therefore, you know, we won't get any real benefit from that. Okay, here we go. Coming into Bromyard to complete our grand tour for today. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Colonel Failure. Next time around, we'll definitely get a look at the Mikado. I'm going to play forward a little bit further to try and get the finances going, so that we can expand the services. Bromyard, of course, where many of our station-related crash woes began. Hopefully now it's going to comply and make me a hell of a lot of money. Thanks very much for watching. I've been Colonel Failure. Please like and subscribe if you've not done so already, and I will catch up with you in the very near future, where there will be more of the same. Thank you very much. Cheerio.